Hi there, it's Yvonne here with Everdell Skincare, and in this video we are going to talk about bone broth. Why I myself and my children, we consume bone broth. It's a yearly thing. We love bone broth. It has helped us so much when we are congested, not feeling well, and just helping us with our energy level. And so bone broth, I personally like bone broth from beef, so from a cow, for example. So how I get my bone broth is I go in on a cow with some family and friends. So say I get a quarter of a cow. And what happens is that cow is basically from get in contact with like your local farmers. So I get it from a local farmer that's an hour away from where I live. And you buy, say, for example, a cow, which is say $2 a pound, for example. And so like an entire cow comes from what comes with it is like your roast beef, your hamburger meats, and then your steaks and etc. So always ask for your soup bones because you get it from the cow from like say the farmer, and he charges you like a hanging weight, and then it goes to the butcher, and you want to make sure you let the butcher know that you want all of your soup bones, and they will give you the soup bones, the bones that come from the animal, because a lot of times they get discarded and you don't want to get rid of them because the bones from the body parts of a cow carry all the what's called the macronutrients and then also your micronutrients. So basically what the bones are, like say bones and marrow, like what we make bone broth from would be like from your, say, the skin, the feet, the tendons, the ligaments, and then the bones and marrow. So you want all of those. That's what carries the macronutrients and the micronutrients as well. And so, yeah, it is so important that you build that relationship with your butcher and make sure that he gives you all of the soup bones, because those are great to have. And don't throw them away. Like if you're having a steak or whatever and you have the bones from the steak, put those in a freezer bag and put them in the freezer, and then save them later to make your bone broth. A lot of times if you went to a store, right, and you bought broth, whether it's chicken broth or bone broth or whatever, be careful, be very cautious, turn it around. If you're buying a $3, if you're paying $3 or $4, $5, $6 for broth, most of the time it's not even broth. There's no nutritional value in it whatsoever. So make sure you turn that around and read your labels. Now, if you're looking at spending $14, $15, then you're probably buying a good quality broth that's actually has nutrients in it. So be very cautious, because a lot of times it's all just flavoring and there's like no nutritional value. So I like to take the steps and make my own broth myself, because then at least then I know that I'm getting the best quality. And so how you make your bone broth is basically, you will see throughout this video the steps of how to make it. But it is important that you cook it on a low, like say in a crock pot, for a good 36 hours. That's how long it takes to cook that broth and to get all the nutrients from the bones into the water. So it makes sense. So like according to Dr. Ox, which is pretty good, because I didn't realize this, like you can fast with bone broth. So you can fast with bone broth. You drink bone broth several times a day, and then that way you're not eating much of other solid foods from that. And yeah, so it makes great sense for fasting, because it's full of your both macronutrients and micronutrients, which is what your body needs in order to function properly. So when I did some research, so I'm going to go ahead and thoroughly read the macronutrients, which you can just Google and find out the definition of macronutrients. So these are nutrients that your body needs in large amounts. So basically include your fat, your carbohydrates, and your protein. And they're the nutrients that basically give energy, which are often known as macros, right? And then the macronutrients also contain the components of the food that your body needs to maintain its system and structures. Then you got your micronutrients. They're essential to protect our bodies from diseases. And then it also slows down the aging process and help every system in our bodies work properly. So, which makes sense, because your bone broth is full of, it's collagen basically. It's good stuff. And then it helps with fighting free radicals. It supports the metabolism. And then it promotes basically your overall health. So our body uses different micronutrients like every single day of every hour. And to keep us energized, we need energize. We need to produce enzymes and hormones and prevent nutritional deficiency. So that helps. That's good for helping with that. And then your specific micronutrient deficiencies. So when you're lacking, when the body is lacking micronutrients, what happens is it could cause some issues. So like basically mental impairment, poor digestion, and then you also have your thyroid and bone loss problems. And so, yeah, that's some good stuff. And I'm so excited that you get to finish on and watch this video and watch the process and how easy it is to make your own homemade bone broth. Stay tuned and enjoy.
Add bones to crock pot on low, cover bones with water, and cook covered for 36 hours. Add some vegetables to it if you want. Let cool and strain, and then add to glass and freeze to save some for later. Bone broth are bones from animal parts are usually thrown away. It comes from bones and marrow, skin, feet, tendons, and ligaments. I always like to add garlic to my food just because it always makes everything taste so much better. And the best part is, according to Dr. Axe, eating garlic regularly is not only good for us, it has been linked to reducing or even helping prevent 4 of the major causes of death worldwide, including heart disease, stroke, cancer, and infections. Add sea salt to taste, because it's also a great source of micronutrients. Did you know that many of our foods lack nutrients? So it's good to count on sea salt for that. Sea salt is also great because it is rich in electrolytes like sodium, magnesium, calcium, and potassium that's needed for good health. My kids do not want to see any vegetables in their soup, which is cool because you can strain it. Yep, strain it. See some green beans right there. And then that way they don't see it. And then they just have the soupy part. I do like the fat in there though, because it's so flavorful. After the kids and I have had our servings of bone broth, I put the leftovers in a mason jar and try not to fill it up. And then put them in the freezer. And when I need it, I take it back out, let it thaw out, and cook it on low. Or I could also not only just use it for soup, I could also cook my rice with it as well.
I hope you like the video about bone broth. When you keep it in the freezer and you take it out when you're not feeling well, is the best time to use it as well. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave us a comment. If you have any suggestions on what other videos that we can make, please let us know too. Thank you, and don't forget to share. Bye.